Hi guys, welcome to a new video. And today I'm bringing you something really useful when we want to make our code faster. Okay, so basically the problem here is when we want to, for example, create an event that can be, for example, when we are writing a text in an input, and we want to trigger an event all the time when we are changing that input. So for example, if I write a direction that can be Galvarino Gallardo like this, as you can see, if I have an event that is triggering when the text change, here we will trigger the event 19 times. Okay, and to put here in a more realistic context, we can use, for example, the autocomplete of Google. So basically, when we are writing an input, we want to know all the uh, possibilities that we can get from the autocomplete of Google about directions, addresses, sorry. So the problem here is that if I trigger an event all the time when we are changing the input text, I will make a request to the API of Google. So in this case, I will create, or I will request for 19 requests to autocomplete API. Okay, and this is really slow when we are trying to create something that works uh, very well. So the problem here, and the thing that we want to do here, is to try to reduce this number of requests, or at least it's impossible to reduce the number of triggers. Okay, because if we are detecting the change of the text, it will be 19 times. There's no other way to reduce it, but we have to try to reduce the request to the autocomplete API. So if I'm writing an address, I don't want to make the request all the time. So in some way we need to know when the user finished to write the address, and then request for the autocomplete API. Sorry. So if I'm writing here, for example, Galvarino Gallardo, then we want to request for the API. So there's a really good trick that we can use, and there's here an example that I want to show you. So here, imagine that I'm emulating the autocomplete API, and the thing that we want to do here is that the autocomplete will receive the address, okay? That is the text input at that time of the trigger, okay? Of the triggering of the event. And here I will print the value of the address, okay, at that time. And then here is the trick. I'm going to set a timeout of 100 seconds, sorry, milliseconds, uh, and then if the global address is equal than address, we are accept the autocomplete request. So for example, imagine that I have this value with the letter G, and now I'm going to emulate the input. So I'm going to, sorry, okay, so I'm going to write the G and the A letter, and then the trigger, okay, because this text change. So I'm going to trigger this function that will be the autocomplete with this value, okay. So then I will write the letter L, and then the event will trigger this function again with this address. and continuously until this value. Okay, so here I'm treating the function how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, it's just an example. So if I don't use any trick, I will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 requests to the autocomplete API. Okay, and that is the thing that we want to avoid, is to try to just create one request. So as you can see here, when I call this function, this address will be G and A. Okay, but then I will write this, so the global address will be GAL. Okay, and this timeout will try to create, or I mean exec this code, but global address will be G, A, and L, and the address at that time it is just G and A, so it won't be the equal value, so this code won't exec. So if we run this code, you can see that, sorry, so we will evaluate the time out, sorry, I didn't want to write this, we will evaluate the address, sorry. Okay, so as you can see, we are evaluating the G and the A and in the first call, then the G, A, and L, and continuously until G, A, L, L, A, R. And here, in this time, this code won't, sorry, let me see, okay, yeah. So as you can see here, we have the G and the A letter, and this code didn't execute, and it's because when this part of the code was trying to exec, the global address was this value and don't this value. Actually, we can create here an else to check this out. I will copy this and I will print address and then the global address. Sorry. And if I run this, so here as you can see, the address is this and the global address is this, because all this code was executed so fast than that this value, I mean this value, yeah, was the last value that we get from here. Okay, so it's Gallar. So Gallar, we have this Gallar and here and here and here. So the only time when we really exec this code was in the last change of the input text. So as you can see here, we just eject the autocomplete one time, and that is the goal. Basically, we want to do that, and I don't know if it's like the best way to solve it. It doesn't look like really elegant, but it works, and it works very well. So I will upload this code in the Git repository so you can use it, and it's really useful when we want to avoid to call too many times or in all the time uh, to an API, an external API, and we want to call it just in the last change of the value. Okay, so is just this, and I hope you guys like it, and I see you in a new video. Okay, bye bye.